Welcome to the year-end edition of the TWMP Daily. Aaron Tripp, thank you so much for making the time.
Happy almost New Year.
Well, we had to have a makeshift studio because our normal studio is gone.
Yeah.
Actually, it's totally vaporized. But it's possible by the time we come back, we'll be in the new studio.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure, but maybe. So here we are. We've got Kelton here. We have Flat Doug. Kelton, can you show everyone Flat Doug?
Flat Doug's been a real problem. He's scared us quite a few times over the
Yes.
last week or so.
You want to be freaked out? You walk in here like I did last night, and I'd had a little bit to drink. I come in, and I'm kind of stumbling back before I can turn the light on, and I see this cutout of Doug Beck, who actually, if it was 11 p.m., would be dressed just like that, perfectly dressed, his tie would be perfect. Scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, I walked in yesterday when it was dark, and he scared me too.
If I was sober and in shape, I would have drop kicked Flat Doug out of pure fright. But luckily, because I was not sober and I'm not in shape, I just screamed a little and then turned the lights on. But we have our year-end edition.
Yeah.
We got the bottle here.
There we go.
You cannot have a New Year's Eve without champagne, right?
'Tis the season.
Kelton, you got to go get you a glass, man.
'Tis the season for cheers. And folks, we're gonna try to hit Flat Doug here with the cork. We're gonna see how this works.
Although I will say, Flat Doug, just like 3D Doug, does not drink.
Flat Doug.
Nope. Doesn't drink. Right? I've never seen Flat Doug have
Nope.
one drink.
Never seen it.
All that one night Lincoln brought him in here, he might have had some drinks spilled on, which I'm sure has happened before to 3D Doug and Flat Doug. All right, here we go. You ready, Kelton?
All right.
Let's give us a try here.
Oh boy.
You don't know, we are broadcasting from the Speakeasy. There's literally 650 steins racked around. So I mean, we may.
Don't hit one of those.
Drum roll, coming.
Oh, here we go.
3.
Got it. 2. We did not practice this before.
Obviously not.
Obviously. Here it goes. We're just going to have to throw it at him.
Oh!
Nice
Got him.
shot.
We got him.
Sorry.
Flat Doug, you knew it was
Flat
coming.
Doug,
Why didn't
sorry.
you put your hands up, Flat Doug?
That's what you get for scaring us all week, Flat Doug.
Yeah, for real. He didn't even stop the cork. Man, I never thought that was going to. I was really embarrassed. I thought it was going to just be a dud and I couldn't
That
get it
was
off,
great.
but we got it.
You got him right
Straight
in the
on.
head, I think.
All right.
All
Cheers
right.
to an outstanding year.
Cheers. Here we go. Wow, we ended the year with a little bit of a bang.
That's right.
Some things happened yesterday.
I'm so glad to be able to come on the air. The television show is off until, was it January 7th? That's when we're taping. No, this would be January 11th. January 11th. So we purchased some newspapers. The Jefferson City News Tribune, the Fulton Sun, California Democrat. 3 papers. It's a newspaper chain assembled by Betty Weldon. And locally people know who that is, but if you're watching this in other parts of the state, Betty Weldon was this incredibly innovative woman who took a family business and really made a lasting legacy. I mean, Betty Weldon, when I think of Cole County, Jeff City, outside of state government, I'm not sure there's a more iconic name than Mrs. Weldon. She was one of the first women in her field. She was a trailblazer. She actually owned KRCG, started it. It's still, I think.
And the radio station
Yeah.
too, right? KWS?
Yeah, KWS, the one I was on this morning.
Yeah.
With Stephanie and Dr. Strobler. If people don't know where KRCG's office is a lot of times, it's actually in Holt Summit on her horse, what used to be her horse farm, I think it was cattle farm now, but it's in a house, and which was on her property. She actually chose, they passed a law in the 60s, you could only own a newspaper or a TV station. She chose the newspaper. And that newspaper was owned by the Husband family, a tremendous legacy family, the most well-known publishing family in Arkansas. They own papers in Chattanooga, all over the Mid-South. This was as far north as they have with these 3 papers, and I am honored to say that they've sold them to us, and they're going to be part of Faughn Media pretty much now, but for sure tomorrow night at midnight, I guess officially, legally, and all that. So
Happy New Year.
If you're going to sue the News Tribune, if you could do it today or tomorrow, that'd be ideal. Doug, if you're going to file a workers' comp complaint, could you do it tomorrow by midnight? Flat Doug, I'd really be grateful. And you know, Flat Doug will be up on these workers' rights situations. I mean, we actually shot the cork at the wrong dude.
He's following this very closely.
We got to get us like a flat Nick
3D
Shore would sue us.
You mean 3D Doug?
Who wouldn't sue us?
Yeah, we have.
We need a flat Jason Bean. He don't like suing people.
No.
We need a flat Jason Bean to shoot for workplace drama. Like, if we put Doug's eye, Gina Walsh used to be on the Senate floor, and every time one of these workers' rights supposed to come up, she'd say, "Oh, Willie, one-eyed, O'Neill, who don't touch this button and got his eye put out." And she would tell these very passionate stories, but they were always Irish people that were getting mangled in job sites.
Hey, don't bring my people into this. That's why they give us the toughest jobs. This has happened since we came over to this country.
What's McKenna do?
Case in point.
I don't know what's case in point. However, if you've heard of the speakeasy that is in the back here, this is the speakeasy. We don't really shoot in here often. We didn't really have a place that wasn't covered in dust right now. So this works. And if you look, Kelton, can they see the guy back there?
I don't know if they can.
Would you go grab that?
Zoom in.
So you'll see, it's this great thing. You see Bill McKenna when he was president of the Senate back over here. The picture of Bill McKenna, speaking of Irishmen, when he's in the House is great. He looks like Ron Burgundy. If Ron Burgundy was in the Missouri House, the huge bushy mustache, the leisure suit, and the enormous microphone they spoke at back in the day in the House, it looked like the old microphone of Larry King. Remember that? He had that huge microphone in the middle of his talk show. But Bill McKenna's back there. We're here in the speakeasy because, like I said, we don't have really any other place to be. Celebrating the end of the year. What a great year. And I just want you to know, if you're watching this, we're very honored to have these titles in our family and start working with them. I'm excited about local media.
Yeah.
I firmly believe, and I can start citing you a lot of examples, I think television stations may fit in a corporate world. Radio, I don't know a lot about that business. Newspapers ran locally. Yep. And we're going to try some innovative things. Some of them are going to probably fail. Some of them will succeed. But we're innovating. And I'll just tell you, I am as you know, a Jefferson City evangelist. I love Jefferson City. I got to come here. I got a picture somewhere, still got nice big zits on my face, with Mark Richardson 25 years ago. I came up to the Capitol, fell in love with not just the Capitol, but the entire community, and it's an honor. And my logic is simply this. We're going to use, I think when you own the daily paper in the seat of state government, it gives you a license to cover state government.
Yeah.
And while that is obviously more important to people who live here, there's more state employees here than anywhere, it also matters to the rest of the state. You're watching this because you care about state government and politics. And we're gonna, as the session goes on, get more into covering state government, and we're excited about it, and we're humbled and a little bit, to be honest with you, it's a little intimidating. There's a lot of business things we're going to take care of. So if you don't see me as much, it's because I'm doing things I'm not good at and learning stuff. But we're gonna it's gonna be fun. It's a new challenge, but I think it's kind of it's a fun one. And you get to work at a newspaper. Is there anything more fun than working at a newspaper?
No. Having been born and raised here, I thought that I would see the doors shut before I ever saw it come back to being locally owned, which is pretty cool. It's a pretty cool full circle moment to having, grown up here and watched different iterations of the Tribune, and now we have the opportunity to do something new and cool. And I think obviously we all know where the newspaper industry has been over the last 2 decades.
Yeah.
Most of my adult life has seen just either consolidation or local newspapers going away. So now we have an opportunity, and we don't really know what the future looks like or what's going to work, but it's kind of cool to say this is now a community driven, locally owned newspaper again, and see what that looks like. It's pretty cool.
And you're right. Mr. Husband was very candid in his remarks about the financial status of the papers and of the industry in general. I guess I think this. I think, and we've had a lot of people say, well, why would you want to do that? Why would you, you're going to lose money in that? And we might. I'm not saying we will lose money for a while. There's no doubt. You don't take a paper that's, as he said, lost money for 7 years and then, make money. But I think, the more local we are, there's a lot of things in this community. I think the staff there is outstanding. I've got to get to know some of them over the past almost 24 hours now, maybe a little more. And I just think there's I think we need some energy and a little investment. And then, if you're a business in Cole County, you're going to hear a knock. We're going to be knocking on your door and wanting you to give us a shot. It's been overwhelming the number of people that have reached out and to ask about subscribing, ask about doing business. My man Jeff Holscher, I owe him a beer.
Nice.
He's been. You know, you never forget. I'll tell you a story with the Missouri Times. We're selling subscriptions, right? And I happened to be back home this day, and Todd Richardson was in town. And you know, Todd, at the time, I don't think he wasn't floor leader yet. He was just Todd. And it was so funny. The speaker at the time didn't give him any chairmanship. One of the most capable people to ever serve in the House ever. But I think people thought he was going to be speaker, and he was trying to interrupt that. And Todd happened to be home, which he wasn't. You know, when you're moving up in House leadership, you're not home, especially if your home is in the farthest corner of the state there is. And I go to his office, and he's like, "I'm in," and he wrote me a check right then. And you never forget that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's like your first dollar, you know?
Yeah.
Like when you have to.
And a guy that just says, not only am I in 100%, I want to pay you today, because he understands like that for small business it matters. You know, some of the folks that have reached out and texted me and says, "Hey, we want to do business with the News Tribune." That kind of stuff, you know, when the alarm goes up at 5 and you're like, "Oh, geez, my head hurts. I almost drop kicked flat Doug." I'm exhausted. You know, you look at your phone and somebody's already sent you a message. "Hey, I want to be the first one to do business with you."
Yeah.
That's a very humbling and motivating thing, and I'm personally very grateful.
The thing I think we were right about that, because we've been talking about this for a few months now, about what it was going to look like after the announcement. That I wasn't surprised by, that I think the intuition was right on, is that people still care about the news.
Yeah.
And now you can get back to basic questions of, you know, what do people want to hear about? What do they care about? You can ask like more fundamental questions now that that the newspaper's locally owned. And like, how do people want to get their news? What do they care about? Well, you can be more engaged in the community and the business community. I think that's the cool aspect of this, was the reaction was overwhelmingly positive, and it shows that people care about the news still. Like people still.
It also showed the relevancy of people caring about news, because the right people were triggered.
Yeah.
I mean, if the socialists weren't throwing a little pussy hat wearing
you would have
hissy fit,
I can tell you what,
I'd have been very
Faughn
concerned.
would have been so sad if
would have been let down.
You would have
been like, what? I don't matter. What?
It was one of the most expected things to come out of this.
When it's not just the pussy hat, you know, no kings protest freak show.
Yeah.
It's the raving, fetal position whining. It's like, I'm on target. I'm on target.
I've hit something.
It's one of those things, like if you're a Republican in the Post-Dispatch and they write nice things about you, it's like, what am I doing wrong here? How did I screw this up? If we would have not, if the socialists wouldn't have been mad, that's a problem, because then you don't matter. And if they would have just been a little mad, I'd been like, I don't know. But because they were so fetal position, weeping mad, you know, and let me just help you out. Missouri Socialists, can I talk to you for a minute? If you think I have any remorse about what I did during the Greitens situation, you are wrong as hell. I am so proud I helped get rid of what is the worst public servant I have ever seen in this state's history. I wish if you could do a daily reminder that, yeah, it was me. It was me. You know what, Socialist? I want to toast you, and I want to thank you for reminding everyone. And I want to just tell you, Missouri, Aaron, Flat Doug, Kelton, you're welcome, Missouri. Tell all your friends. Tell them all. To me. Can we do one to me? So thank you very much.
Yeah, congratulations.
Remind everybody. And if you don't, I will. So one of the two of us will. All right, let's talk. Awesome. You're going to see some things in the News Tribune, but frankly, the News Tribune, Sun, the Democrat, they have very competent staffs. I don't have a bunch of stuff I want them to write. You know, my goal is their day-to-day is like it. Well, yesterday was a weird day. Their day-to-day is like it was 2 weeks ago, and 2 weeks from now it'll be like it was today, and then, you know, so on and so forth. I think they do a quality job, and we're excited to work with them. And then the Missouri Times. I want to tell you, we put out that video yesterday. Gussie on target. He's like, I want to go to the pub, and I was like, no. Kid's got charisma. You know, we're going to be more bold. We're going to be more aggressive, and we're going to evolve the Missouri Times into something new. And I'm probably as excited about that as anything, because I've never looked at the two as competitors. there's definitely space for both, and the Missouri Times is going to be a little more wild, a little more unwieldy, a little more aggressive, and it's going to evolve into something new, and I'm here for it. And me, yeah, we're going to do some different titles, more legacy titles, but I'm still the white trash hillbilly that grew up in a trailer down on the state line. We're drinking champagne today because it's New Year's.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, if we were doing tomorrow, if we were doing this,
it would be Bud Light.
It'd be Bud Light. We had an event yesterday. It wasn't at some hoity-toity place. It was at High Street Pub.
It was packed. High Street Pub was packed on a Monday.
We had a good Monday.
Or a holiday.
Happy cheers to Carl.
Yeah, cheers to Carl.
But no, we'll be the same. The show will continue. We'll be. It's funny, someone asked me, well, we're going to be partisan now. And I'm like, well, if I have a bias, it's against extremism on all sides.
I also think your bias is rural. Like, if you have a bias at all, yes. It's hillbilly.
That's yes.
You are hillbilly bias.
I guess my thought is just admit your biases. Because I think it's so funny, these people will come up and say, oh, it's so funny. Every reporter, right, who... As a candidly, admittedly more conservative person, I'd be like, I kind of think maybe Tony Messenger's stories might be a little liberally slanted. And he would say, no. And then he starts writing columns, and they're the most socialist columns ever, which is, again, his right. I actually really like his columns. He won that award for the prison stuff. I 100% agree with Tony Messenger on it. I thought it was great to bring that to light, how the government takes advantage of people because they don't have the money to fight back. But it's like all these people, reporters, I'm like, I think it's a little liberally biased. Like, no. Then when they become columnists, they're all the most left-wing socialists they can find. I'm like, yeah, I might have thought this. This is not surprising to me that you think this. Right? It's almost like Anderson Cooper goes on TV, I'm not biased. And then 5 nights a week for an hour he bashes Trump, right? I'm like, maybe a skosh, right? Just maybe I think you're a hair biased. I just tell you folks, you know me. I'm going to tell you what I think, tell you who I am. It's the goal of the journalist to tell you the facts without any bias, but they're going to be biased in everything. And I'm going to be the most open person you can. You're going to know what I think. If it's reflected as bias, then we need to do a better job.
Like when you keep asking me about the maps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For 6 months straight.
Well, it's so funny. I didn't think we had anything to talk about in the interim. But we do.
We've had
and it just keeps happening and happening. Did you see the Post-Dispatch? I don't think it got sold. That David Hoffman that was buying those wineries in Defiance, he bought in and became chairman of Lee Enterprises today.
Yeah.
Like, good day for the media, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know Mr. Hoffman. I think I've met him, but I don't really know him. I think Molly Dempsey works. He owns the boat that does the cruise, right?
I think so.
I've been on the boat. It's pretty cool. Anything that Molly does, though, is going to be 10 on 10. So big day, big week, I guess, in media. I guess we'll.
Wait.
I wonder if he's bringing the wine to. Do they have a meeting of publishers? I don't even know.
Scott's like, this is one meeting I'll go to.
Well, he's gonna. Yeah, I mean, it'd be kind of neat. So anyhow, let's talk about politics. We have. Next week will be session.
Next week is session.
It'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun.
Wow.
I don't. Everybody has all these preconceived notions about session. I mean, you can't judge a legislative session day by day. It's like judging a baseball season by a week or a series.
There's how many games? 160 games?
Yeah, or 62. Who's counting?
You.
The Cardinals, mostly in the loss column, but. I mean, there's going to be. Look, I think it's a very challenging thing. Flat Doug's got his work. 3D Doug. Flat Doug, you need to go over to Afton and spend some time with 3D Doug.
Make him feel better.
Well, it's such a tough thing they have, right? My opinion is the maps were going to happen, right? And that was almost out of their control. I think you need IP reform personally. I think this sets that cause back 5 years, maybe longer. But okay, but the way they went about it and not having a second of debate on a amendment to the Missouri Constitution, changing the rules to read in House bills before Senate bills. I think that your average Republican senator is like, I'm not happy about this.
Yeah.
I'm not proud of this. I don't really want to dwell on it forever.
Came to the Senate.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be, frankly, on the Democrats to have to stop and to have to throw a fit. But it's the hard part is how far do you go before you go too far? They have to do something. And it's going to be funny how many senators that have texted me are going to be quietly cheering him on from their office. But at the end of the day, you can take anything too far. And I think the couple red lines might be where they gavel in. Kiki Curls is up for the Sports Authority. My assumption is they're still going to have a Sports Authority.
I was going to say that's maybe the question mark there is.
But it's a 4-year term, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to be there for 5 more years. So
allegedly.
Man, your team, wow. I'm not as emotional about it, but if the Cardinals moved to Illinois, I'd be ready to burn stuff. I think the Chiefs fans are taking it remarkably well. Kiki Curls is one of the most respected people in this state. She is, by all points, qualified. She's a former member of that body. That's a tough one. If I'm the Democrats, do you really want to filibuster her?
No.
And my assumption is they will stick her into a slate and make you do the slate. I assume that's what Senator O'Loughlin will do. That would be a red line. I think if they end up killing Senator Curl's nomination, you're going to see Republicans pissed, and that's probably too far. And then the police board, right? And maybe I'm just a Kiki Curls fan, so I'm open to being quite biased about it. But the 5 members of the police board in St. Louis, those are Governor Kehoe's folks. I think everybody expects them to hold them up, but if they try to kill them, I think that's where Senate leadership and not just Senate leadership. I mean, let's be honest. They all blame leadership for the mess of that second special session. They're senators. They're grown. Every part of that was on the people who went along with it. When you're the reason nobody cares about a lot of House members is because generally they do what leadership tells them to do. So why would you talk to them if you just go to leadership and they're going to tell them what to do anyway, right? It's like going to the job. You're going to talk to the foreman, not the guy holding the sliding shingles. If you're a senator and you want to be important, well, you don't pass the buck. There's a famous Missourian that said the buck stops somewhere, and there's a bunch of state senators that were like Republicans that were like this during special session. But I think that your average caucus member who is not that thought the maps thing was fine or whatever, they were going to vote for it, maybe it wasn't their favorite thing. Yeah. That might be for IP reform, but thought this version's pretty poorly crafted, which I think most anybody would. I think that's where you're going to see them start to go from, hey, we screwed up, give them their time, we'll go through these motions for a few weeks. If you start number one, that's 4 weeks. So you're going to, how long you do this, right? The time you're taking up is a long time. And then you start killing Kiki Curls or Governor Kehoe's police board members. That's where I think that your average Republican senator all of a sudden is like, all right, now that's enough. And how Flat Doug and his caucus threads that needle, I don't know.
Yeah, I think
God bless him.
Members of the Republican caucus that may not have been totally aligned with leadership but went along with special session, I think they just have to decide what kind of Missouri Senate they want to have.
Well, and they say that, they didn't tell me what happened. I was like, well, you see, if you stand up on the floor and hold the floor, someone will come out and tell you what's going on. If you go on the Senate floor and say, Mr. President, I don't know what's going on here and I don't like this, I'm very confident someone will come and tell you. Or be a senator.
Hold the floor.
You can't see it. I have every blue book except the very first one right here in this speakeasy. I'll bring them to you, you can read them. You could probably do a month of filibustering just off those blue books. It's funny, as Republicans came into prominence in this state, the blue book has gotten fatter and fatter. It's kind of funny if you look at the history of the state. The fattest blue books are when the Republicans came to town. I never thought about that. So anyhow, I think that's the first part of session is going to be the Senate Democrats. How do they make their point without going too far? And I think Flat and 3D Doug have a very, very tough job. And I don't know. It's almost impossible to make a plan to know what's right. I think that you're going to see folks start to get put out if they try to kill those nominations. There's a lot of their nominations, and whatever, it'd be fine. Mm-hmm. You start those 6 are the ones.
The police board probably starts to hit a little too close to home to the governor's office, to where,
Yeah,
that
and
start making the wrong people mad.
And the governor's office say, look, we wanted these two things passed. We did not tell you to change your rules, right? So why you dogging us? But if I'm Senator Roberts and Senator May, I'm like, what a perfect time to talk about the state senate and not have to talk about,
Yeah.
But also, I think the members of the board have to be sponsored still by Senator May or Senator Roberts, right? So if they pass that hurdle, I don't know. That's the interesting part. Then what
It's also a midterm year, and typically midterm years have been historically slower.
Not as productive, yeah.
Not as productive.
Then you have Senator Huff. I don't know that Senator Huff is the happiest camper these days. I will say this. I think Lincoln Huff is the most talented senator that doesn't owe leadership anything since Jason Crowell.
Yeah.
And
love that Jason Crowell analogy.
Well, Jason Crowell, you say what you will about him. He'll turn your back on it, he'll turn on you. I can tell you that. But the fact is, when he was in the Senate, the entire legislative agenda ran through him. Anything he wanted to play in, he did, and he did it not just by maneuvering, which he did very well. He also did it by having a coalition of people. When he wanted to block something or change, and Jason Crowell did not just block
That's
things.
what's key is who can Lincoln pull in to block something when he needs to or when he wants to. And
I
what
think that
what are
list
his
will
relationships like there?
Unique,
Yeah.
interesting, different on issues. He's smart enough to play the natural opponents of something off them. I think what I hope. And he's a friend of mine. I don't bullshit anybody about it. I hope he does it just as much to pass things and to influence policy as just to kill things. I hope Crowell was very good about, he could play 3 games of chess at once in his head, right? He was good about not just going to the floor and killing stuff. You get more credit for that, right? And you look like a badass and all that. But he would go amend things and you wouldn't even know he was doing it. And he was not just what you saw after Crowell was a lot of people that wanted to be the key senator, and really they just killed things.
Yeah.
Crowell was not just a bill killer. He influenced a whole host of public policies through a very complicated network of alliances and use of the Senate rules. Lincoln has the capacity to do that as well. I hope for him he doesn't spend his last year just there to kill stuff. I think that'd be a waste of talent. I hope he sticks to what he said when his chairmanship was taken away. Hope he sticks to making sure the Senate goes back more to the Senate of a Jay Watson, of a Tom Dempsey, of a Jim Matheson, of a Bill McKenna. I think the state was better served with that. So that, to me, those will be the two things. And the third thing is money. Comes down to the money, right?
Yeah. That auditor's report really has.
Well, so here's the thing. We didn't get to this on Wake Up Missouri this morning, but part of that is you build I-70. It's going to cost $1 billion. So you have, $800 million set aside, and then as the project goes on, you'll earmark certain funding towards it. Well, it takes a minute to go do an engineering, environmental studies, public input on exactly where these routes will go and these overpasses. You don't just go to a contractor and say, here's $40 million for an overpass or whatever an overpass costs. You hold that money in the bank and draw interest on it until the contractor is ready, and then you give them a percentage up front, and then you give them materials, and then you pay them off, right? That money sets in the bank and draws interest until, if Dan Hogg's smart, right?
Yeah.
Kevin Zellers ain't just writing checks for nothing. He's a smart dude. Part of that is they say there's all this money. Well, a lot of that's money that's our money that's just set there. It's going somewhere. It's just not time to cut the check. So interest on $40 million is a chunk of money, right? So you hold that money, and that's what a lot of the fund balances are. It's not I don't know that the surplus is going down as much as it's actually going out the door for what it was appropriated for. There's really not much of a surplus.
It's not net new.
It's spent money. It's like the first of the month if you take your mortgage and you say, okay, this $4,000 is off the table. Well, why would you pay the mortgage if it's the first of the month? Why would you pay the mortgage if it's due the 28th until?
You know who we need to bring in to talk about this? Andy Foley. We need to get Andy Foley on here.
That'd be good.
It would be good.
I like that.
He could explain this.
So then you've got, they've been operating at a deficit for a while now in reality. It's just now there's less and less money to paper over it. So yet your first deficit that everybody's going to admit to in
7, 8 years?
No.
6, 7 years?
What did it?
2020 was probably the last one. COVID, pre-COVID.
They threw all that federal money at it.
Yeah.
I don't think there was a deficit then.
No, I know. I'm saying like it would have been pre-COVID.
I think it would have been 2010, 2011, somewhere in there, 2012.
Really? Oh, we're going way back.
And the only people in the legislature then that are still there now would have been Searpoy and Lincoln. Bernsketter. I'm pretty sure Bernsketter. For sure, Searpoy and Lincoln were the only people I can think of that were actually here the last time there were money problems. Mm-hmm. And they would have been freshman House members and really just been observers of the problems at that point in their career. So I think it's going to be an interesting time because the governor kind of had 3 priorities, and it was pretty clear he was going to lay those out in his first year. He did police, now he's going to do taxes. Mike Kehoe, while I did not ever hear him say we're going to screw Reverend Cleaver at any of his stops, I did hear him say we're going to get rid of income taxes. Mm-hmm. He ran on it, campaigned on it, promise. And the people overwhelmingly elected him on the promise he was going to do this. He's a winner. We'll get to the Chiefs in a second. Mike Kehoe is a winner. I feel like he wins this. I think that the problem, people are going to think their state income tax is 0. Well, that's not going to happen. I think the best case scenario is for him to get this win is it triggers, and the trigger's a long way down the road.
Growth will have to be at a certain pace for it to.
Mike Kehoe's grandson might be the one running for governor when it gets to 0, right? But I think it's going to be if you're thinking after this legislative session, this is your last year of paying income tax in the state of Missouri, that's not real. Now, the thing I'll say, and I've asked him when he's been on the show, it was 6 forever, right? The state did well, and it did well. It didn't do well at 6. It's down to 4. It's on the way to 4, maybe. Yeah. The state has not grown in 25 years. And look, it rocks me a little bit because my whole career, since I came up here with Mark Richardson, you cut taxes, you're going to have growth, economic growth, population growth. All these good things happen when you cut taxes.
Less government, less taxes.
More freedom, all that.
More freedom.
Amen. Hell yeah. Let's toast to low taxes and better government. And that's just always been, frankly, the bedrock of my view of politics has been if you cut taxes, you get the government the hell out of the way, then the economy grows, the population grows, everything's great. Okay. We've been cutting taxes for a while in this state.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't see the growth. And folks, when I say that to some folks, serious Republicans are like, yeah, that's a little rocky. But other folks are like, we have to cut it all the way to 0 to see any growth. I'm like, I've been in business for a while.
There was no asterisk on that promise.
Yes. It was this will. I think that it's going to become a problem for serious Republicans. Okay. To say, okay, we've cut taxes, we have nothing to show for success here that I've seen. If there is, 429-5770, text me the success we've seen from the tax cuts. I haven't seen him. And I'll just tell you in my own business, which maybe it's too small, maybe I don't make enough money, or maybe I make enough money that doesn't matter. I very seldom ever made a decision based off my state income tax.
Yeah.
It's just not enough money to really make me make decisions. And again, maybe I'm a bad businessman. Maybe I make too much money, too little money. I don't know.
The state's, for general revenue, it's our most stable form of revenue.
Maybe it was. But I'll say this. Just like I think those are fair points that I've not heard anybody really combat. Except you have to go all the way to 0 before anything gets better. I'm like, very few business strategies you have to implement totally, completely, and fully to 0 before you see any benefit.
Yeah.
That's a little dicey to me. But Mike Kehoe is a businessman. He's created more jobs than I've created. I don't know about you, but Mike Kehoe is a wealthier man than me, and Mike Kehoe did not inherit his wealth. There is no Nepo baby in Mike Kehoe. I have been to Walnut Park. I met his family. This dude earned it, right? If he's got it, he fucking did it.
So I think this is about trying to put money back in people's pockets, and particularly like middle to low middle income families, right? Or middle income families.
It depends on what you call low income.
I just fundamentally disagree. Working.
Like how much is middle?
I mean,
how much is
yeah.
low? 50,000 low? Is it middle?
I think the principle that Republicans and Democrats agree on is that we should be trying to put money back in their pockets. Republicans think you should do it by cutting the income tax, and I think Democrats disagree with that.
Okay, but let me give you the best case I've heard for this. We're a third of the way.
Y'all,
we're a third of the way.
We had this conversation a few weeks ago. You make this like emotional plea that because
it's not emotional.
Because of the person who's pushing it, therefore it
All
makes
right,
it a good policy.
I'll phrase it differently.
Yeah.
I think it's a very good point that if we're a third of the way to 0 from 6. Mm-hmm. Absolutely no success. No promises have happened. All of the rosy stuff that's said, none of it's happened yet, right? Mm-hmm. It is nice. I think it's positive that some people are paying 1.5% less of income tax to the government. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a good thing. But overall, none of the macro positives have happened. I think that's a fair point. It's also a fair point to say this. Go get those blue books. You have right now in office the most accomplished businessman since at least Governor Stark and maybe before. You ever been to the apple farm up there in Pike County, Chad Perkins territory? Stark family, very well known for their orchards. I will say this. If Mike Kehoe says, I need this to go sell businesses to come here, who do you know that has the business bona fides to say he's wrong?
Well, he's losing one of his biggest.
That's not emotion.
He's losing one of his biggest businesses, and I don't think they stayed on the promise that it was going to have anything to do with the state income tax. In fact, the state they're moving to actually did this a few years ago and then reversed course. So I don't think
What is the income tax? Can you see what is the state income tax in Kansas?
It's not 0 anymore.
But I think they went to 0 and then it went back up, right?
Because it didn't work.
What is the state income tax in Kansas? I don't think the Chiefs went there because of income tax. They went there because Kansas was giving them a boatload more money.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like if he's using this as like move to Missouri, I don't know that that's like.
I don't think the Chiefs are a good indicator of the theory.
I'm not saying they are. I'm saying that I don't.
It's 5.2%.
They moved it back to 5.2. Okay, that's good, Aaron. It's a damn good. Here's to you. That's a damn good point. Well stated.
I'm saying it doesn't. I'm saying it doesn't play a factor.
They take it to 0 and then had to move back to 5.2. Woo! That is some volatility there, Kansas. Damn.
Every year after 2024,
they trigger
it's 5.2 to 5.5.
They have different sets of triggers now.
Wow. Damn. I see why Contra was so pissed at you people. That's a damn. I mean, but yeah, it's a good point. I go back to though. Tell me the person that's against this that has a better business resume and a more qualified person to make this argument than Mike Kehoe.
This is a campaign promise. It's a great campaign promise to run on.
I don't think that's who he is.
People don't like taxes. People like less government. That's great.
But when they get it, I think part of they've been promised certain things from less government, and so far it hasn't happened. I will say though, I mean, he's the best messenger. You say it's an emotional argument.
With that.
If you go to Walnut Park and see where he's from, that's facts. If you look at he was the youngest of half a dozen children. His father left when he was 3. That's a fact. If you look at the guy, I've been to Stone County.
Any of that.
I've met Larry Sifford, the guy that
I'm not
Dave
even
Sinclair,
arguing with the fact that he believes
Mike Kehoe's washing cars like a demon. I actually know Larry Sifford, who taught him how to sell trucks. I have been to his ranch now. I have been to his home in Jefferson City. Those are all facts.
Yeah,
he did all those things.
Yes, I don't even argue that he believes that this is going to do what he says it's going to do. I'm not even
but
arguing that.
Who do you know that's more qualified, that has a better set of facts, not emotion, to say he's wrong? I don't know anybody.
Well, the state of Kansas is the best example that most people bring up.
Well, what business person in Kansas says Mike Kehoe's wrong?
Says that he's wrong?
Yeah. Tell me the person who went from
I don't have a specific name
Walnut Park to the governor's mansion.
I don't have a specific name for you. I just have the facts that they went from 0 and now they're back up to 5.
All right, let's first
we gotta move on from this topic.
Big New Year's Eve. If you're out for New Year's Eve tomorrow night, stay downtown. Don't get crazy. And if you're going to go out, it's New Year's Eve. You want to stay at a nice place. Courtyard by Marriott.
Yep.
Is there a better place to stay?
They're probably
than
sold
the
out,
Courtyard?
guys. You probably can't even get a room now.
All right, and then I want to say, session starts next week.
Get your room.
Please. I mean, I love every single Missouri. I love most
I've already
Missourians.
reserved Kevin Mullally's rooms for the year, so you're one room down.
Are we going to get Kevin Mullally on here?
We have to, I don't know.
When is Kevin Mullally back here? When is his first room?
He's officially no longer a UAE resident as of February 1st, I believe.
So when is he going to be here?
Here in
sometime
Jefferson
in the
City?
month of February,
Sometime in
we could
February,
have
yeah.
Kevin,
Kevin-
a.k.a. See, he's Kevin Mullally to everybody of a certain age, but everybody now, he's going to be Aaron's
dad.
It's really going to be quite the turn because I'm
Yeah.
sure it used to be Kevin's daughter.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure when he comes to Jeff City now,
It's going to be a.
it's going to be your dad.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting. So we have to have him on, obviously, to get the good stories, Kelton.
Yeah.
I mean, Flat Doug, we got to have a meeting without Aaron, like a staff meeting, meet the three of us to discuss. Kelton, what question do you want to ask Aaron's dad?
Uh-oh.
I have no idea.
Oh, I thought he was going to come up with something really.
Yeah, I was thinking he was going to say something saltier than I
Yes.
could say. Yeah, that's what we need. So
I'm
for
sure
New Year's
there's
Eve, if
some
you're going
embarrassing
somewhere,
stories.
look, don't be cheap. Don't suck.
Stay at the
If you're
Marriott.
coming for session and it's somebody you care about your father, if you're coming down for the opening festivities, they're always kind of fun, Courtyard by Marriott. And if you, I promise you, you can text me and I will do my best. But if you need to make the reservation now is when you need to make it. We need a promo code. Right?
We do need a promo
Because I hear
code.
people from all the time.
We need a promo code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's a nice thing to be Scott Faughn walking
Yeah.
through the lobby bar there at the Courtyard. People are like, see, I took your advice. I'm like, yeah, how great is it? Also, you're
some
watching
residuals.
this. I am going to have, before long, my own United Fiber Carhartt jacket, the greatest rural broadband up in the great Northwest. The folks at United Fiber do a great job. Co-ops are the absolute backbone of this state. There is no more important institution than co-ops, and there's no finer co-op than United Fiber. And then, you can't forget, even more Missouri made. I wonder, we can't actually say on air, but we're going to have to see, was Flat Doug printed here in Missouri by a union printer? I trust that it was. I'm just going to assume, we're not going to look too closely. If you want a product that is grown in Missouri, fertilized in Missouri, harvested in Missouri, tested in Missouri, packaged in Missouri, delivered by Missourians to Missouri stores, sold in Missouri, even the receipts from Missouri. The folks at Mocan Trade Association, they're fine members. There is nothing more Missouri than their products. Go to a local dispensary, check them out. You can absolutely be guaranteed. Other folks say they're from Missouri. They could even say they're independently from Missouri. They're usually full of shit. One group is actually everything you can be guaranteed is Missouri, and that's the products of the Mocan Trade Association, and they're fine members. All right, let's talk about what's going to happen. Stories of the year. We've got
Stories of the
We
year.
only 15 minutes.
Yeah.
We're on this.
We're-
You need me to hit you again?
Okay, we better.
You gotta slant
Yeah,
it.
if we have
You gotta
to.
slant that.
If we.
You're very fashionable. I would thought you would have known.
I know.
It's gonna spill.
I got this.
I grew up in a trailer and I knew that. What's up with this?
I got this.
You grew up the
Man, my wrist
ginger-
almost gave out. I was talking to somebody the other day about having arthritis. I need our viewers to help me with this. From holding the kids.
Is that
Like my elbow.
does Blake have a sore cheek because of is how you
No,
hurt this wrist hurt?
It's
Uh,
holding those kids.
I've seen when that daughter of yours when
It's-
she gets
yeah,
out of hand.
it's
You
rough.
you want to see a different side of Erin. let her daughter get in one of her moods, and Erin swoops her up. It is she moves quick. So the year that was, I think probably the biggest story was Mike Keogh's string of successes that ended. Obviously, he has. I mean, I
Yeah.
think it's.
Biggest news story of the year was special session number 2. I think
that's the most impactful story for next year, special session number 2. I think what's going to be odd though. Let's update our predictions.
Okay.
There was 2 PQs in regular session. One was the abortion bill.
Yeah.
One was the thing Flat Doug had a problem with in the Prop A, essentially repeal of some portions of that. Although the minimum wage goes into effect Thursday
Yeah.
morning.
Yep.
God, these liberals, you people. I don't know. And then they did the IP reform, and they did the stadium bill.
Yeah.
Okay, abortion. I still say it's look. You always start off favoring the no side. I still favor them, but I think it's going to be a good fight.
There are so many ballot issues now. I think that the pro-life coalition had a clearer path when they were able to put it on the ballot at the end of session. It made a lot more sense. Now there's so many things that are requiring resources and time that I don't know if they have. I don't know if they have what they need. But we'll see. Yeah, because I think you come out favoring the no. I think at the end of session I would have said 50-50.
And 50-50, I would have been 60-40 to the pro-choice side, just because it's hard to get a yes.
No, yeah.
Getting a yes is hard as hell. I'm detecting something though on this. Every movement's biggest problem every movement gets off the ground by its most ardent activists. And at some point they usually become its biggest problem.
Yep.
And I think you see the most pro-life folks have some of them who helped get this issue off the ground and moving are what they would call abolitionists. They wanted to go back to where there's absolutely no abortions like the old law. I don't think that'll fly in this state. I don't think that's a position you can defend successfully at the ballot. You couldn't in the legislature. But I think you're going to see that abolitionist group, the most ardent pro-lifers, refuse to vote for this ban, and I think if in a close race they could end up mattering. And what Susan Klein and Dave Plemons and the leaders of the pro-life effort can do to bring them back in, they're going to need everybody to win this. And those abolitionists, if they make up 3-4% of the vote, they either don't vote. I don't think they'll vote for the other. I don't think they'll vote.
No, they won't vote no.
They might just say, I'm not voting this because it allows abortions, period. But I think most of them just will skip it. And I think they need everybody. So I think that's something to watch for. And you'll see a lot of that. A lot of that will be discussed in the legislature. You'll see a lot of that talk, and that'll be a touch point is, does Mike Moon get up on the floor and rally the troops a few times? Because there will be a lot of folks that rally to that cause.
Yeah.
And how big that group is
how
could be very important.
vocal does he get about this issue? We'll see.
And Mike Moon's got the way of always coming off sincere.
He does.
And it's very effective. Whatever he's carried the message for, it's very effective, especially to that real hardcore Republican base. Then Prop A. I'm sure they've filed stuff to get signatures.
Can't even.
I'm not familiar. I thought that would get, usually those type of things pass easily. You gotta get on the ballot, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. We need to ask Jake to find out the status of what the Prop A stuff is. Then number 2, the Chiefs bill. Womp womp.
Tied up in court.
Can you possibly imagine?
Yeah, doesn't even matter at this point.
The most winning governor we've had, first year, amazingly successful. What if you pass this bill and you lose the Chiefs that everybody loves and wanted, and you get stuck with that dog of a franchise, the Royals? I mean, that is the ultimate loss. Even if the Royals go to Kansas too,
I told you what I think
good.
You should put out into the universe is that they should just focus their efforts on the Cardinals.
Yes. No, I definitely think
it's
if somebody said,
takeover.
we're not going to do Medicaid this year, we're just going to give the money to the Cardinals to you. Whoever comes up with that idea, hint, hint, Flat Dog is a great idea. You should bring it up. I guarantee you it's a winner in Afton, especially with the state of the Cardinals.
If the Cardinals could just be better, we may not need to cut income taxes. We could just
Probably.
get some economic growth. Yes,
it would be a happiness tax. Right now, if there was a happiness tax, I would be getting a check. I'd be getting a refund. So it's a loss now. It's a big loss if they get stuck with the Royals and no one goes and watches and they lose the Chiefs. No one wants the Royals.
That's not true. Most of Kansas City wants the Royals.
Oh, really?
A majority of Kansas City wants the Royals.
A majority of Kansas City wants the Royals so bad they'll go to the games?
That they voted.
And then they said, we don't want the Royals? So, yeah, that's what I think you would call an emotional argument.
Well, it is emotional, right?
Yes.
Because part of the problem here is
Kelton's got an echo.
Going on.
Our speakeasy studio is coming unhinged.
I mean, all of this playing out was pretty predictable after they didn't extend an already existing tax. It wasn't a new tax.
They voted for the Royals to leave.
Tax.
And I would have also voted for the Royals to leave, honestly.
Wasn't a new tax.
Can you imagine, though, let's say you're a state legislator, and you come to this special session, and the governor wants you to vote for this, and it kind of sucks. Look, for a Republican, man, voting for stadium funding, it's a little tough for anybody.
Yeah.
But for a Republican, especially if you're Jason Bean, right? Mm-hmm. You don't give a damn about this. You're from nobody in Peach Orchard cares. There's more Titans fans than Chiefs fans, just because of the geography,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You're closer to the Gulf of Mexico. You know, they're as close to Canada as you are to the Gulf of Mexico. It's hard to get there. You go vote for this. You're good. You're a team player. You're Team Kehoe, and you lose the Chiefs. And then if you lose the Royals too, you can say, well, there's no stadium subsidies went out. But if you have to keep that dog of a franchise that no one gives a damn about and no one watches,
The last franchise to win.
and it
A
makes it
World
even
Series
sadder
in
that
the
no one
state.
goes to the games. It's a sad state of affairs. I mean, that is
Facts.
that's
last franchise
double
to win
loss.
a World Series in the state.
They did win a legitimate World Series in was
They-
it 16, 15?
15 or 16.
15, yeah. And good for them.
Just
they
saying, the
deserved it.
last franchise to win it. In the
They
state.
won one legitimate World Series, and I think everybody should be here's to the Royals winning their first
There you
legitimate
go.
World Series in 2015. No, but I do think that that is because right now you got it out. You can say, well, yeah, but we cut such a conservative deal, no team would take it unless the team takes that no one wants. And I mean, why
Have
would
you
they
all
not?
figured out that Scott Faughn is not a Royals fan?
I just pity them. I'm not really a hater. I'm just a pitier. And then you go into the ballots, the maps. They turned in a ton of signatures.
Yeah.
I wish Judge Limbaugh would have ruled on. I think people deserve to know the rules of the game. And look, I will say that Denny's being a little aggressive here. I think you should know the rules. I don't think you should be able to start collecting signatures to overturn a law until it's a law. I don't think you should, until the governor signs it, it's not a law. I think until the governor deals with the bill, you shouldn't be able to collect signatures because it's not a law. But I think that a court or someone should codify these rules, right? Well, people don't deserve it to be all this ambiguity. They turned in 300,000 signatures. They need 107. My assumption is they get there. I assume they do. If it gets on the ballot, I think the map goes down.
Now that we're like talking about this out loud, I think the irony of this year in that the intent of the legislature is to have less ballot issues, and they got more ballot issues than they've ever had.
The ballot blew up.
We have more in 20, and we had a ton in 24. I didn't think we'd
Yeah.
ever get to where we were then, and we have more important issues in 26 in the midterms.
Well, it's the volume of them.
Yeah.
You know,
So I don't think that went well. If the intent was to have
didn't work.
less.
It's almost like cutting
We now
taxes.
have
So
more.
far, we have not. And then I think the one that I hate to see. What do you think? I think I will. Well, let's make some predictions here. I think as of right now, I'd still say 60-40 that the pro-choice folks win theirs.
Yeah. Yep.
I would say, because I don't know about it, and maybe I've just been doing other things, I would say it's 60-40 that the Prop A revisions stand.
I don't know that that's even. We'll see. Yeah.
I think if it goes to the ballot,
yeah.
they probably win, and they
Yeah,
get
if they go to
overturned.
the
but
ballot, but they have to get on the ballot.
as of now, I have not heard about it, so I'm going to assume they're not. So I'm going to go 60-40. That doesn't change. So it's 1-1.
But if the map is on, it doesn't go.
I think the map is on.
Map is on.
Don't you?
You think it's on the ballot?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be on the ballot.
And I
But
think the voters
it
will
know,
cough it up.
yeah. I think IP reform will go down.
And that's the sad one. The Chiefs. Do you think the Royals stay? Can they get rid of them?
He won't move on.
I'm just
from
asking.
this,
I mean,
folks.
well, the Chiefs. Look,
Gosh.
you know,
We
I'm an admirer
have
of
to go
Governor
do
Kehoe.
a show in Kansas City now. You have now officially.
I have no problem with
You
that.
have enraged them so much.
We'll do it
that
right there in
we
front of the
now-
Dinkinger statue
We now have
at
the
Dinkinger Stadium in almost Independence.
Shout out to Mike Searpoy for the very best Christmas gift I've ever seen.
Oh, Kelton, would you go get that picture? It's on my table in my office.
Oh man.
Yeah, we'll close with that.
We should close with that. Yeah.
God.
This is what you
an
get if
asshole.
you would just stop haranguing our team.
You mean stating facts? You only have emotional arguments here.
You only have emotional
So
arguments.
the Chiefs are gone, which is sad. but
Fact. Last team to win a World
I'm not going to
Series.
lie and act like I'm as mad about this as you are, but it is. I feel sorry for the legislators and Governor Kehoe, but I'll probably go to a Chiefs game a year still. I'll just drive a little farther. Are you keeping your season tickets?
It's a discussion point at the family meetings.
Where are you at on this discussion?
I'm undecided.
Where's Blake at?
Blake is leaning give up. Blake is leaning wanting to give up because we're both Mizzou Tigers too. So it's just like the whole philosophical
if those damn Kansans still the Mizzou Tigers, then I do.
Yeah.
You know, I tip my hat to
I
those
think we're
Jayhawks.
okay.
Governor Kelly knows what she's doing if she can steal the Tigers.
Well, that's the other thing is maybe we give up the Chiefs season tickets. We just buy Tiger season tickets.
Hey man,
I've wanted
it's a good
basketball.
time to be.
I've been asking for basketball.
My friend
season
David
tickets.
Stillman says that the team's
Yeah.
going to be sneaky good this year. He's really looking forward to next year.
Yeah, I've been wanting
although I didn't, the
basketball
bowl
tickets.
game was not great. but
it was one of the worst.
Steelman's confident about next year, and I'll take his word for it. Do the Royals stay, or can they get rid of them?
I think the Royals are staying.
Because no one wants them.
Stop.
I mean, there's the truth. The team people wanted is gone, and the team no one wanted stays, right?
Would you show this Christmas
It's like
present?
the ugly puppy. Like if you walk into the pet store and you see the real energetic puppy bouncing around, that's the Chiefs. They're like, oh, Kansas, like, and they look at that ugly kind of disease-ridden one with a snaggle too. They're like, no, you stay. We're taking the puppy.
Still the last franchise to win a World Series.
They have won one legitimate World Series, and I will congratulate them again for that. Then the IP reform.
No, it goes down.
In flames. And I actually, of all this, I don't think you should make it impossible to put something in the Constitution. I think it should be a little harder.
Yeah.
A little harder. And even, I don't want to quote him, he might not like this, but I know a certain person with the realtors who is steadfastly against this change and most changes. I actually think he's a very reasonable man.
Yeah.
I think you could talk to him about some changes to make it a little harder.
Yeah.
And I don't think he'd have a problem with that. I think when you talk about wiping it off.
Especially if you coupled it with a bigger reform package, I think that would be the key.
Yeah, I
everybody's got to win something in this.
Which is a very Midwestern Missouri way, but this goes down in flames, and I think it sets the whole thing back farther.
Yeah,
I think
that's right.
A movement that needs to happen for the state.
Well, in a year where you
back.
Wanted less ballot issues and you got more, I would say yes.
Well, now it's like it could be the last boat leaving the port. Everybody's jumping on it. All right, thank you guys for a tremendous 2025. We're excited about Fulton, California, and the News Tribune here in Jefferson City. Aaron started joining the show. Thank you very much. Cheers to you.
Cheers to a year of
I'm going to tell one Walter Hussman story.
Oh, boy.
Mr. Hussman's the former owner of the Tribune, one of the greatest, one of the preeminent people in American media in the last 100 years. And so I was so nice because when we met him at the airport yesterday, I introduced myself. I've had some discussions with him. We're not like tight. I don't want to like overstate, but we know each other when we see each other. Or I know him previously, but he actually knows me who I am now. He walks right up and immediately says, "Oh, Aaron, you're on television. I've watched you on the show." And I'm like, I don't think you've ever been on the show, but a few times without me. I don't think he really knew I was on the show, to be honest with you. I think he just knew you were on the show. So props to you.
Cheers.
You have a career in Arkansas waiting on you, I think. And then Flat Doug, thank you for all year. Jake is around here somewhere. He's probably writing. Thank Jake. Kelton at the Kelton Cam. Can you wish everybody a Happy New Year?
Oh, Happy New Year.
And then I've actually got a Christmas present.
Senator Sirpoy.
The worst Christmas present maybe I've ever gotten.
Best Christmas
from Senator Smartass from Lee's Summit, Mike Sirpoy, actually got me a picture of the Antichrist. See right there, it says Antichrist. It's a signed Don Dinkinger photograph. The greatest royal in franchise history.
I'm not going to argue there.
The fact that I think why the Chiefs left is, why do you not have a statue to him in front of that little T-ball field at Kaufman? That tiny little stadium no one goes to. It has room for about 15 statues. I'll put
Cheers.
this.
Cheers, Don.
Before it leaves, airplay of Aaron's lipstick smooch on his cheek.
Great American.
I would say thank you, Mike, but I'm not going to say thank you.
Thank you for this great American. Now we'll have a place in them.
And I'm not regifting it either.
No, he's going up in the speakeasy.
Oh, is it?
He's staying.
We'll have to vote on this.
Well, you employ two Royals.
I'm gonna call my friend Mike Claiborne to come over, and we'll see if Spicer can bring Ozzy by, and we'll all vote on what we think we should do with that photograph. But seriously, it has obviously been a monumental year for us. We're very grateful. Aaron, honestly, this show is so much better. Thank you so much for making the time. We're gonna be able to convince you to come on next year?
I think so.
Or is your community service up? Kelton, what do we think? I mean, can you talk her into coming back?
I can certainly try.
All right, predictions. This is the last part. What's your
right.
prediction for the year?
Prediction for the year. I don't think much happens, but I think maybe we get a little semblance of the old Senate back, and maybe even Senate Democrats get a few things that they want at the end of the day.
That'd be a welcome thing. I think we're going to see, something tells me that when you need money, it's VLT's year. The state needs money. That money would be a big boost to the state. And the reason I think that, if this was a 1 year shortfall, they'll ride it out. But this line looks like it's going to go like this. And you need something to start stabilizing that. I would also say you have a shot, the marijuana, after President Trump came out and changed the federal statutes.
Yeah.
I
Big
think
deal.
you might tighten up, and they tighten up that farm loophole. I think the state might do the same. I think those two things are kind of issues that are trending there. I think you're going to see the ag community come out for bear in a significant way. I don't know if that gets it done, but I think this is the last year to really make that happen. You got a guy named Jim Avery that may be to town a year from now. He's probably not going to have much of that. And then I do think Kehoe gets his income tax. I just think it's going to be on a very extended schedule.
Yeah.
And then we'll be talking next summer and fall about school reform.
Yep. I think that's right.
Happy New Year to all of
Happy
you.
New
Thank you
Year.
so much.
Cheers.
From Flat Doug, Kelton, Jake, Aaron, we are signing off. We will see you. We're going to do this like Tuesday?
Yeah. Sometime.
Let's do
In the new year.
a week from today.
Yeah.
We'll be back here. Hopefully, maybe in a new studio
Yeah.
on the TWMP Daily.
TBD.
I like that. TWMP.